We love it when a car surprises us. We love it when a car exceeds our expectations. And that is exactly what we have here today with this 2025 Hyundai Tucson. Good day, everybody. You're watching me on the test drive, and this is a mid-cycle refresh. We've spent the week with this. We have this in the Top Dog Limited trim. I'll put the price up there. It's just around $40,000. And the big news is, yes, most companies, when they do a refresh during the mid-cycle, it's minor. And on the outside, there is some minor changes. But the big news, and where we're going to spend a lot of our time today, is on that interior. There has been some dramatic changes in that interior, which has kind of transformed this car. Now let's start back here in the back, checking out the storage. So everybody gets their compact SUV for is the storage, and this one is right at the top of the class. Does just about as good as anybody in the class. We have a 12 volt over here. Here in the US market, there's our Maroni. In the US market, we do get a spare. Do a couple things here. Now the only thing I'll point out is that this load floor is not flat. You'll get a little bit of a hump as you go over there, but yeah, this is right at the top of the class when it comes to interior storage. Pretty wide opening rear doors here, and let's just hop in. Let's get quiet since it's windy out there. Talk about the rear seats really quickly. Very comfortable, very roomy back here. Again, top trim, so you get a lot of niceties like these two USB-Cs down here. Your rear vents, you do get this nice big panoramic sunroof in this limited trim. But let's talk about the interior, because yes, this is the top trim, but there's been dramatic changes in here as far as overall styling and functionality. We got an all new steering wheel. We got those two big infotainment and instrument cluster displays. Big improvement there. Curved. We get lots of nice nooks and crannies. We get that nice shelf along there. And the big news is the center console right here. They have moved, at least in this, again, got to be very clear, this is the top trim. So in the United States, this limited trim, they have moved the shifter off of the console, freeing it up for a wireless charger. And you get huge space down there. And you also get a revamped HVAC control. So we'll dive into all of that. But the aesthetic in here just looks fantastic. This is probably one of my favorite compact SUV interiors now, even in the lower trims, even with the shifter right here. I think in Canada, I'm not sure, they only got two trims up there. They may have the column mounted shifter in both of those trim levels. The door cards are all real nice. Bottle holder here, little piano black there, nice sturdy handles. But yeah, super comfortable in the back seat. On the passenger side, we do have 8-way adjustments. No lumbar over here, but at least they go up and down, which is nice. Again, here's that shelf. Really love that shelf. And we are just loaded with features in this limited trim. Again, we have some fantastic ambient lighting. I've already mentioned this nice big panoramic sunroof, which also opens pretty wide. We also have the high-end Bose stereo system, which sounds pretty good. And then over here on the steering wheel, let's go ahead and start this up. Get these nice little chimes. Again, the big news here is that they have freed up all of this space down here for storage, bags, whatever you want to put down there, snacks. You got your USB-C here, two of those. You even have a 12 volt down there. And then over here, they've put all of your driver mode controls, things like locking your center differential. This is a all-wheel drive. Your drive modes, which you can switch between normal, sport, snow, which is pretty typical of all Hyundai Kia products. Your auto hold when you're in traffic. You can turn off the engine stop start for gas mileage. This one is okay. It starts a little abruptly sometimes, so you can turn it off there. We do have nice downhill descent control, and we have these great bird's eye view and 3D camera. This is all right here. It all falls nice to hand. Two cup holders right there. And then you get Apple CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto standard. And they do have the updated Hyundai infotainment system, which is laid out in all of these sort of tile fashion to get around to your different options. Very easy to use. And if I go back over here to CarPlay, you'll just see how fast this is, and it's easy to touch. It just feels good. It feels solid. Where they've put the screen now, it just works. I really do like how they've laid this all out. The center instrument digital display is crystal clear, great fonts, very easy to use. And then when you get over here to the steering wheel, again, I always like how Hyundai puts these knurled scroll guys here for things like your volume. You can also flip around between your different menus using this scroll knob also here. So just really laid out really well. And everything you touch is just super high quality. I will always laud Hyundai and Kia. Every time I get in one, I'm going to point this out because other manufacturers need to do this, and that's that they always display your wiper mode digitally in your instrument cluster. That way you're not trying to look down here and try to figure it all out. Same thing with your lighting, whether you're in auto over here, it's just showing up right there. I'm going to continue to hype that because it's one of my favorite Hyundai Kia features. So it's disappointing in the US that the lower trims, the shifter is right here. You lose this space down here, but all this is still the same. So it's still a major upgrade. I just don't understand how that can be saving Hyundai money by having lower trim levels with still the shifter here. But putting it on, I don't know if you can see this here, let me move the steering wheel. Putting it here is great. Let me turn off my... Putting it here is great. I first saw this on the Ioniq 6, I think. And you have push button there for park. Turn it clockwise to get into drive. Turn it all the way over to reverse. It feels good. It's just easy to use. One of my favorite shift by wire kind of mechanisms in any car. Yeah, I do kind of like these every once in a while, but this one works fantastic. Engine stop start down here. It's got some nice big knobs here, really like that. Big fonts. You do have your volume knob there, a tuning knob there. You do have some quick button things as far as getting back home in your Hyundai menu, which is nice. This also has navigation, so you can pull up your maps just with a search with just a touch of that button. You do have the star button here. You also have a star button on your steering wheel to favorite some of your things, some of your commands, which has been always been a Hyundai Kia nice touch. But it gets down to this right here. I should also mention before we dive into that, we have heated seats, we have cooled seats, we have 2-stage heated steering wheel, and all this stuff gets hot really quick. But it's really down in this area right here. This is just a touch screen, and it all works fast, it works easy, but you still there's still no kind of feedback or interaction with it. Now, what's under the hood here is not why you're buying this. This is a 2.5 4-cylinder, no turbos, nothing fancy, 187 horsepower, which is just enough. We have 178 pound-feet of torque. This is gas direct injected, but I would like to point out this is also port fuel injected, which should help with long-term valve deposits on these engines. This is mated to Hyundai Kia's 8-speed transmission. Again, this is just basic stuff. And if you like simplicity, I think long-term reliability of these is going to be a little bit better than all the fancy turbocharger and hybrid stuff coming along. Cooling fluid here, washer fluid there. You can check your engine oil right there. Brake fluid easily accessible right there. And I always love Hyundai and Kia, how they make it so easy to change your air filter. Now I should also point out the Hyundai key fob. It's different. I do prefer the Kia key fob a little bit better. They do have some controls over here on the side, like the park assist, and it's rather big. It's pretty light, laid out kind of like an oval egg, but it's your key fob. At least it's different. All right, again, we got fantastic bird's eye camera view here, really nice. I can also just spin this guy around. Let's just leave him right there like that as we back him out. How cool is that? Love it, love it, love it. Now, as we make our way down to our uphill dig, I do want to give a big hearty thank you for pressing play today. If you like quality car reviews where the car is the star, check out our whole channel. If you like what you see, we would love to have you subscribe. All right, I will put this in sport mode, which is easy with this drive mode button that falls right down to hand. All that's going to do is stiffen up the steering a little bit, make the transmission a little bit more responsive, and the throttle. This is always a challenging place to get out of. We got it floored. $60, okay. A lot of sound and fury there from that 2.5 4-cylinder. It does okay. We'll just leave it there. It's adequate. We'll get it over on our 0 to 60 run here in a few minutes. But most of the time, that 4-cylinder is well muted. Hyundai has it quite isolated. It's only when you get it fully open throttle where you really kind of starts intruding the cabin. It's pretty smooth. It's not, you know, it's not like it sounds like it's struggling. It doesn't like cry out for help. It's just, you know, it's adequate. Now, as far as the 8-speed transmission, I've had no issues with it this week. It's been shifting smooth. There was that one hard shift there on that really demanding acceleration, but overall it does what Hyundai Kia's 8-speed does. It does a decent job of really kind of falling into the background. It's really hard to tell the upshifts or the downshifts. Now you can paddle shift this, which I will do here. You can see I just downshifted to 4th, 5th. I just slow down here a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad. It's better than the CVT paddle shifters, probably right up there in line with something like a Mazda 6-speed. So adequately fast if you want to use the paddle shifters. This is one of the few cars where I'd say they're pretty decent, can be kind of fun. Mostly you're going to use those paddle shifters in slippery conditions or trying to do some downhill speed control. All right, as we get down to some of our bumpier parts of our drive here. Yeah, this rides really well, but it's not floaty. You feel the bumps. It's got sort of a little bit stiffer suspension. Again, I'm contrasting this to the Sportage we were in a couple weeks ago, where it was a little heavier, a little bit softer sprung, but this is really comfortable. I haven't found this suspension to get unsorted at all over bigger bumps or multiple bumps. Now, nothing will create more conversation in the comments section than 0 to 60 runs here on Beyond the Test Drive. We only do 0 to 60 runs to sort of do a relative comparison to other cars that we drive. And all we do is we try to mimic real world conditions when you're stomping on the gas to get up on a highway or to get out of a situation. So here we go, 2025 Hyundai Tucson 2.5 4-cylinder, no turbo here. $60. I don't know what it was, 8.5 seconds. I don't know. I'll put the number up there as we always do. But no, this is not a stoplight speed demon by no means. And the shifts were just fine there. And I was not in sport mode or anything. But let's put it all together out here on our fun part of our drive. And what I would say as far as the handling is it matches the engine power. You know, so I'm really kind of giving it the beans here. And the transmission does pretty good. Let me just kind of slow her down a little bit, see if she'll downshift for us. Yeah, downshifts are fine. But very comfortable, nice quick turn in on the steering there. And again, I just feel this is pretty well connected to the road. You do know what's going underneath. You do know what's going on underneath those wheels. And again, I'm just going to contrast this to the Sportage we had a couple weeks ago, where for some reason this is just way more enjoyable to drive despite being way down on horsepower. I'd be really curious to drive this in the hybrid, because I think that's where everybody's going to have to make their decision. If you want this car, but you're not happy with the power and you're not happy with the fuel mileage, which we'll talk about out on the highway, then the hybrid is obviously the one for you. You're going to get more horsepower, you're going to get more responsiveness. However, there is something about the simplicity here. There is something about just mashing and winding out a low power 4-cylinder. It gets into the slow car fun sort of discussion here. Now, I did not mash on the brakes at all. I do like the brake pedal here. It's not overly firm. It bites right near the top. It's pretty comfortable brake pedal, very linear, average nose dive, so no complaints about the brake pedal or the stopping distances. Coming in hot here, just getting on the brakes a little bit. Yeah, very linear pedal. I like it. All right, so what is the downside of 187 horsepower? And that is kind of out here on the highway. This is a quiet cabin, very good road isolation, just a little bit of wind noise. We measured like 67 dBs, which puts it right up there with one of our quieter cars we've measured, at least in this price range. We do have this extra acoustic glass here on the side windows helping out a little bit, but once it settles down 70 miles per hour, right around 2,000 RPM in 8th gear. So yeah, comfortable, quiet cruiser. However, up and over grades, even small grades, this transmission will hop down in the 7th quite a bit. It'll even drop down the 6th quite a bit. So again, that's one of the compromises you're going to get with this basic 4-cylinder. It's just not enough torque to sort of keep it in that 8th gear. However, as you can see, we're approaching 80 miles per hour. Very quiet in here, very nice. The other thing I like about this out on the highway is seating position. I feel like I'm sitting up. I feel like I got great visibility, very commanding view of the road, and not all mid-size or compact crossovers have that feeling, but it's definitely here. Seating position is excellent. Hyundai does awesome with all of their safety features, blind spot monitoring, all that stuff. And in this top trim, we sort of have their sort of advanced cruise control right here, where it will use navigation. It understands the speed limit, it understands the curves, and it'll adjust the speed based on some other things, other information than just looking down at the road lines. We also will center in this lane. Hyundais are always excellent at doing their lane centering. Same thing with Kia. And you can go quite a way because it's doing the navigation here. Well, it's flashing because it's not happy because of the car up front. But with the navigation on, it'll let you go a lot longer without touching the wheel. The other thing here is we do have that excellent Bose sound system. Not a lot of volume, but it's fine. It sounds really good. Definitely feels like it matches the ambiance of the car. Very comfortable seats, no issues at all with this cabin. Now let's see if we can get around this guy. I want to turn the cruise control off. We got a bunch of Mazdas up there, our favorite. Well, we got a CX-90. We got a Mazda 3 on the bottom. I don't know, everybody's kind of pokey here. Let's see what we can do. All right, we're gonna go into the middle lane. All right, we're gonna go around this guy. We're gonna floor it. All right, it's okay, it does the job. Now let's quickly talk about fuel economy. I'll put the EPA numbers up there. 26 overall, 30 out on the highway. Kind of middling as far as its competitiveness there. If you do get that hybrid, another thing you get in addition to extra power is you get 38 miles per gallon overall, and I think that's just outstanding. So again, we took this out on a pretty good size trip the other day, 140 miles. We did average 30, and that was with a lot of stop and go. Overall, as we've been driving around all week, we've been doing about 27. So yeah, right in what the EPA says. Now, I am a big advocate of the fact that cars are always more or less than the sum of their parts. And what that means is you can have a great spec sheet, you can have all the features, you can have all the performance. The bottom line is, do you like to drive it or not? Some cars have mediocre spec sheets, especially this one with 187 horsepower, lots of great features. However, that 187 horsepower has not detracted at all with our enjoyment of this Tucson this week. And the best judge of that is our communications director here at Beyond the Test Drive, the better half of Beyond the Test Drive. So let's get that alternative opinion right now. A lot of the cars we get, you don't go out of your way to grab them and drive them, but for some reason this week you've been grabbing the Tucson every chance you get.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. It's very comfortable driving. Like the seats are so comfortable. And I don't know, I just like where everything is. I like the feel of the steering wheel. I just like the car. I think they did a great job with it. Nice and light inside. It's approachable. Yeah. Maybe that's a good word. I mean, not that I don't love my car, but this one is just, it's comfort. I guess I'm getting old. I'm not going to say it's sporty. It's not, but it's very pleasant to drive. I love where everything is. I love the charging pad here.
Yes.
Really do. And my passengers this week have loved this little area.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that. You would never lose your phone again. And it feels pretty substantial. I like the it's simple. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say I don't really care for that.
Yeah. But
I'd like it to be
buttons.
A button. I'd like this to be buttons.
Right. But these are big.
Yeah, these are nice. This is nice. These are, I really don't know what they're for up there. I've not used them. Mm-hmm. But these, I don't know, I just would prefer a button.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Oh, I think you just turned on did you turn on my my ventilated seats? Yes, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See?
Well, see, polarized sunglasses, you can't see
I can't see anything down there.
Yeah, if you polarize sunglasses, you cannot see the screens.
That would really be the only little bit that I have.
Okay, you're a Tucson fan. What about the styling on the outside?
The styling's pretty good. I like it. I don't like the wheels.
Yeah, they're busy.
I'm kind of a plain Jane kind of girl.
All right.
And the color is actually very pretty.
Yeah, I think the interior colors are
I love the red. I love the interior colors.
Yep. Okay, we have a hit.
We do.
You're giving it your highest approval. Well, there you go. Family members were constantly wanting to ride in this week, drive this week, and that's just a big tell on how well a car is doing what it was intended to do. But we need to know what you think. We need to hear your comments. We need to hear your questions. We need to hear your experiences with both the Tucson or any Hyundai Kia product. Please leave those down below. So let's put this in park. Just push the button there, hop out, easy to get in and out of. And there we go, the refreshed 2025 Hyundai Tucson. I think it looks pretty good. Definitely easy to live with this week.